Hey, what's going on, guys? It's been a while since I brought you a deck profile, but I'm bringing you Yang Zing's today because this is probably one of my favorite decks that I've ever played with. Um, since my Harpy deck profile, I've had a lot of decks, a lot of meta decks. The only one I haven't had so far is BA, and I hope I'm getting that sometime. But I think I'll keep this deck for a pretty good while. Um, I've managed to get what I feel is close to completion, if not fully completed. The only thing I feel like I need is a better side deck at this point. But without further ado, I'll just hop into it, I guess. First, you play 3 Jiao. This card's really good. It sucks when it gets Fiendish Chain and after you pay the cost, but if your opponent goes first and sets no back row, and you can use this effect, you usually win depending on what deck you're playing. I played a Blackwing player at locals, and I went this my first turn, used his effect. I went into Chao Feng. Using a dark, I think it was Jiao in this, and like he couldn't do anything. After the duel, he showed me his deck, and the only out he had to the Chao Feng was a Reigeki, which he was nowhere close to. So this card's amazing. I would probably leave it at 3, just in the fact that it gains you so much advantage if you can get the effect off. But yeah, and then I only run 2 Chi-Wen. I don't know why people run this at 3, considering it can special summon itself from the graveyard. So basically, you can get 4 synchros off of it, if off of these 2 if you use them correctly. And if you draw your, I run 1 Call to Haunted, so you can get 5 synchros if you have Call to Haunted. Plus, there's there's a card that I run that acts as a level 1 tuner anyways, in case you need one. So that's why I run 2. Next up, probably one of my favorite ones is the 3 Bixie. Bixie is amazing, making whatever monster you synchro for immune to traps, which as you can tell has its upsides, not really any downsides. So Bixie's very important, especially when you have a skill drain up. Your monster can still use its effect and operate under it, even though you have a skill drain up. So basically, oh yeah, and if you torrential, blah blah blah, do all that other cool stuff, you're unaffected. So, yep, Bixie is probably one of the single most important ones in the deck. 3 Swanee is another important one. 1900 beat stick, and make sure synchro monsters gain 500 attack and defense. So another important one, probably one of my favorites also, because I just love poking for the 19, and they won't mirror force it or anything because they're afraid of my effect. And the 19 adds up very quick, very quick. So this card's really nice. I run 2 BN. The only reason I run, I don't know, I just like it at 2. It seems to work at 2. Plus, you can do the Herald of the Arclight play with it, where you can make it immune to battle. And yep, that's pretty much it. That's why it's at 2, because I can't take it out completely. I wouldn't even cut it to 1. Paleo makes your monsters immune to spells. This is probably one of, like, in my opinion, the one I use the least. The only time I use it is when I make gigantic monsters like Star Eater and Leo. That's about it. But I mean, he has his purpose. And 1 Tatooine, and then 1. I still can't say this name, but oh well. I run 2 Yang Zing Path. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you the reason why I find like it's searchable by this guy, and if you draw it early game, you usually won't need it unless you drew the Jiao and 2 other Yang Zing monsters, but there's not a high chance of you drawing all that. And then Tatooine is just really good because he's a level 5, and he makes it to where you can't be like your monster can't be switched, so you can't. I guess a card that this would be good against is like if your opponent's running tunes and he does like Comic Hand. But yeah, that's basically it. But he's in here because he's a 5, and this one's in here because he's a 6, and he searches Yang Zing Creation and Yang Zing Path. So this one is really good, really really good. And now for my 2 favorite techs in the deck, or maybe they're not techs, I don't know. I just decided to put them in here, and they've been doing really well. Especially if you have this in your grave after using it, and you draw, you top deck your Soul Charge. He can make you go so nutty, and just the fact that this is why I don't run a 3rd Chi-Wen, because it keeps itself very. What's the word I'm looking for? Like it's never dead. If it's in your hand, it can negate, an effect monster on your opponent's turn, which is this deck's biggest weakness, because we don't have one that says, negate monster effects, unaffected by monster effects. We don't have one of those. So this helps out in that, and then plus, like I said, it's a level 1 tuner that you can just normal summon and then like sync with this. This is an automatic. Like if you have this on field, and then you sync with this, that's a 7 right there, level 7 synchro. So very important. I love this card in this deck. I don't think I would take it out for anything else. 2, Yang Zing Path, like I said, drawing the, like, I don't know, I like it at 2 because it's searchable now, and if you draw it like early game, I mean there's no point really. So I really love this card at 2. I don't think I would put it up to 3. I run 2 MST because this card straight up just loses to Macrocosmos and Dimensional Fissure. So with Ritual Beast being very like popular nowadays, having this in the deck at 2 is a safe bet in my opinion. Because if you get those cards activated on you, or a Royal Decree, if you get a Royal Decree activated on you in this deck, it's so hard to just try and find an out. It's so hard. But 2 MST for destruction, I run 1 Reigeki and then 1 Dark Hole. Dark Hole, in theory, you gain more advantage than your opponent. So Dark Hole's a safe bet. And Reigeki, I mean, blowing up your opponent's, all of his monsters, pretty nice. Book of Moon, and then the 1 Soul Charge. These are the other 1-ofs that I run, so I only run 8 spells, I think. So Soul Charge, very nutty in this deck. Being able to special summon out all your synchro monsters that you've made in the past, or synchro out all your Yang Zings and then making new ones. So Book of Moon, one of my favorite cards. I would never take it out of any of my decks because it's just so amazing and diverse. For traps, we run the 3 Yang Zing Creation against things like or things that bounce your monsters. This is what you want to side out, because this card is completely dead against Klee. They will not attack you. They will just bounce your monsters back with Stealth and Carrier. So this card is a hindrance sometimes, depending on your matchup. But in a lot of other matchups, in most of your matchups, this card is absolutely nutty and you want it at all times. But in Klee, it's just a big hindrance, I've found. So I side these out for, I think, 3 Dust Tornado. That's what I side them out for. But yeah, this card's amazing. I wouldn't cut it. 2 Mistake, not MST. 2 Mistake. You don't search in this deck. You search with 1 card, the Zephranu. That's the only thing you search with. So, which you can work around that pretty easily. 2 Mistake is a very safe bet in this deck because, like I said, one of your hardest matchups is Klee. This hurts every deck, every meta deck, because every meta deck searches. It's just a simple fact. And against Klee, their scout's just dead. They can't use it. So this card's amazing. One skill drain and then one vanities. I feel like these should go hand in hand. Skill drain's a staple in this deck because all your effects activate in Grave, so you can operate under it very easily. And then one vanity's emptiness because you can make your giant ass field and then just vanities. So I run a crap ton of 1-ofs, a crap ton. One Mirror Force. Mirror Force is Mirror Force. Being able to get rid of all your opponent's attack position monsters is just really nice. Plus, if they're really stupid, they will run into this because this beats out people who overextend. One Torrential because, once again, in theory, your monsters gain more advantage off of this than your opponent will. Also, some of your monsters are immune to traps, so you can just TT and then, proceed to beat the crap out of them with a Leo who's unaffected by traps. One Solemn Warning, one Bottomless, and then one Dimensional Prison. This isn't it. There's 2 more cards left, but I don't know. I feel like I should talk about these a little bit more. Dimensional Prison punishes decks like Shadal's when they attack with their construct. So I main one specifically just for that. Bottomless hurts your worst matchup, which is Klee, because they pendulum summon you bottomless all of them. So yeah, Solemn Warning just amazing against pretty much any deck. I feel any type of summon negation is amazing. So that's why I could never cut that card. One Call the Haunted because you can call the Haunted, and go for your synchro plays. So I only run it at 1. I feel like that's all you need it at. And then one of my favorite techs that I've put in, 7 Tools of the Bandit. I wish it was a rarity, but I couldn't find anyone with a rarity, sadly. But 7 Tools of the Bandit, I put this in here because this deck, the only thing that hurts you is something like Solemn Authority and Solemn Warning. So being able to negate that and then your monster hitting the field, because most of the time you'll make them immune to traps, but Solemn Warning and Solemn Authority negate the summon, so yeah. But this stops that and then lets your monsters just go on rampages when they finally hit the field. So yeah. And now for the extra deck, I'll start off with the high monsters first. The highest one we run is a Star Eater. This card's really nice, really nice. Love this card, and making it immune to traps and spells. Oh my gosh, to the point where they can't Regeki this or Dark Hole it or Book of Moon it. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. One Leo, same thing. If you make this immune by spells and traps, which I have before, it's just really hard for your opponent to stop it. Plus, this is my out to Towers, because you can make it a 3600 beater. Towers makes it lose 500 attack, so it's still at 31, just enough to get over Towers. Same thing with Star Eater. That's another out to Towers. One Trishula. Trishula is amazing. I'm glad this card came off the ban list. Just being able to make it unaffected by traps and then trish your opponent. They can't stop it. It's pretty good. Really good. Stupidly good. Chow Fang, because this card's pretty broken. I'm not going to go into all of its effects, but if you don't know this monster's effect, you should read it, because it has 3 really amazing effects. This is your win condition against certain decks, especially against Necros. If you summon this with Jiaotu, with a Jiaotu, a Bixie, and a Tatui, you win, unless they have a Regeki in hand or a dark hole, like if they have an out. But that's usually it. You'll most likely win just off of this summon. 2, Baxia, because this card is freaking amazing. In my opinion, it's a better... No, it's not better. It's basically a Synchro Cardinal. Like you know what I mean? Like, it just bounces things back. Really good against... Like, I hate to keep saying it, but really good against Klee, because you can put the Scout back into deck, or his Pendulum Scales. So, also you can put the Sacrifice back into deck, which I've done before. Put like a Scout, a Sacrifice, and then the monster it was equipped with, and then just poke for like 28, because you can make it gain 500 more usually. 1 Crimson Blader, this thing is amazing in meta right now. If you attack over a monster, they can't normal summon or special summon level 5 or higher monsters like during their next turn. So I was playing Mermails, this card completely wrecked them just by itself. Also, I made it immune to traps, so when it hit the field, if he didn't take care of it by then, he wasn't going to take care of it. So I went into this, completely wrecked them. If you do this against Shaddolls, they can't fusion. If you do this, also if they're running the Chaos variant, they can't do that. Do this against Necros, they can't, I guess they could do Unicorn or Colossalus, but that's about it. And then, what else is this? Klee, and then just a bunch of other rogue decks. So that, for level 7s, 1 Yazi. Yazi is a scrap dragon that can't be targeted. Plus, you can destroy a Yang Zing monster, and then destroy one of your opponent's cards, and then you get advantage off your Yang Zing monster. So, really, really busted in some aspects. 1 Black Rose, because destroying nuking field is just amazing. Clearwing Synchro. This card is great. It combos with 13 cards in your extra deck. So yeah, you can pretty much protect almost your entire extra deck except for 1 card. Goyo, because Goyo's Goyo, you just take things. Armades, making this immune to traps is crazy, or making it to where it can't be destroyed by battle is also amazing. So I love this card. Next, Ally of Justice Catastor. This card, I'm not quite sure how I feel about it yet. This was a Colossal Fighter, but I don't know. I took Colossal Fighter out because not a lot of people's going to be able to attack over a 2800 beater. So, yeah, I put this in over it. 1 Samsara, Dragon of Rebirth, basically a monster reborn for any of these guys that you get in grave. So, and plus you can take cards from your opponent's grave. So, yeah. And then one of my favorite, the Herald of Arclight. This has a really cool play where you can make it, where you can just do a gigantic field, and a lot of times you won't be able to make your monster immune to spells. But that's fine because you can usually combo off with this and have like 1 giant, like let's say a Leo on field, and then this. And the only way that they have to get rid of it is most of the times a Regeki or a Dark Hole or a monster effect. So this being able to protect against any of those is amazing. So this is a really nice combo piece. I love it in this deck. Really nasty. Plus its first effect isn't half bad either. So this card, really nice. Really love it. Wouldn't take it out. So, yep, guys, that's basically it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. This is probably one of my favorite decks, like I've said, that I've played in a long time. This deck is amazing. I wouldn't trade it. Wouldn't sell it. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And thanks. Peace.